If your patio feels more like a forgotten space than an actual living space, you're not alone. Most people assume that they need a big renovation, new furniture, and a huge budget to accomplish it. But in reality, small, intentional changes can transform any space. So let's break this down into simple, realistic ideas that even you can achieve if we start small. One of the fastest ways to completely change the patio is scale. Most patios feel empty because everything's too small. Small pots, small plants, small presents. A single large container plant fixes that instantly. Think ornamental grasses, olive-style small trees, or bold tropical foliage in oversized pots. The reason this works is because large plants create anchors. Your eye needs a focal point to rest on, otherwise the space feels scattered. Even one or two large containers can make a patio feel designed instead of improvised. Flat plantings are one of the main reasons your patio might be a bit boring. When everything is the same height, your eye reads as the space as flat and static. Instead, think layers. Tall plants in the back or corners, medium plants in the middle, and trailing plants spilling forward. This creates depth and makes a small patio feel immersive. Your brain actually perceives layered spaces as larger and more intentional than they are. A patio that only looks good in the summer is not a design space, it's seasonal decoration. But evergreens solve that. Plants like boxwood, dwarf conifers, and compact evergreen shrubs keep structure all year round. Even in winter, when everything else dies back, they maintain shape, color, and presence. This is what designers call bones of the garden, the structure that holds everything together. Too much variety creates chaos, where repetition creates calm. Using the same pot style or repeating the same plant across different areas help guide the eye through the space. Even simple patios feel more high-end when repetition is used correctly. Patios are full of hard lines, concrete, tile, furniture edges. Without softening, everything feels rigid and artificial. Trailing plants break those lines. When plants spill over the edge of containers, they introduce movement and softness. Even a small amount of trailing greenery can completely change how natural a patio feels. Lighting is what transforms a daytime space into a lived-in environment. String lights create overhead warmth, while lanterns or wall lights add grounding points of glow. The key is layering, not relying on a single light source. When light is soft and distributed, the space feels calmer and more inviting. Even in small patios, defining edges changes everything. Solar lights along borders help visually contain the space. This makes the patio feel more structured and larger at the same time. Instead of lighting everything evenly, focus on a few plants. Highlighting creates focal points and adds drama. It turns plants into features, not just background elements. Lighting is only half the story. Shadows are equally as important. When light filters through leaves or structures, it creates movement and depth. This subtle layering is what makes a patio feel atmospheric instead of flat. Mirrors, glass, and light-colored walls help bounce light and visually expand the space. This is especially powerful in small patios where every illusion of space matters. Most people just place furniture wherever it fits, a chair there, a Chesterfield there, but that creates a scattered feeling. Instead, think in terms of purpose. Ask yourself, where do you actually want to sit and relax? Where would you like to talk with friends? Where would you have coffee in the morning? Even in a small patio, defining a conversation zone instantly creates structure. The goal isn't to make it bigger, it's to make it make sense. Outdoor rugs are one of the most underrated design tools for patios. Without them, furniture feels like it's just out there floating in space. A rug visually anchors everything and creates a room effect outdoors. Even a simple setup, 2 chairs and a rug, suddenly feels intentional and complete. And the interesting part is that rugs also soften hard surfaces like concrete or stone, making the entire space feel warmer and more inviting. Shade is not just comfort, it will actually determine how often you use your patio. Without shade, patios become unusable during hot afternoons or peak sun hours. Adding even a simple umbrella, sail shade, or pergola completely changes the usability of the space. If you want to take it further, climbing plants on a pergola can create a living shade. It changes with the seasons and feels far more natural than fabric alone. A patio doesn't need to have a fixed layout. In fact, flexibility makes it more functional and feel more alive. Movable furniture allows you to adapt the space and, depending on the moment, quiet morning coffee, dinner with friends, or simply moving into the sun or shade. This is especially important in small patios where every inch matters. Privacy doesn't always need fences or walls. In fact, solid barriers can make the space feel small and more enclosed in. The more natural approach is layering plants at different heights. Tall containers, medium shrubs, and climbing plants on trellises can create privacy while keeping the space open and breathable. If you're enjoying these patio transformation ideas so far, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, where we introduce great tips and tricks every week. In most patios, the biggest waste of space isn't the floor, it's the walls. Vertical gardening turns empty fences and walls into active growing spaces. This can be done with trellises, wall planters, or climbing plants. Not only does it increase planting area, but it also pulls the eye upward, making the space feel taller and more immersive. A well-designed patio isn't just visual, it's sensory. Fragrance plays a huge role in how we experience outdoor spaces. Placing scented plants like lavender, rosemary, or jasmine near seating creates an immersive environment. Color is usually the first thing that people think about, but it's texture that creates depth. A patio with only one type of leaf structure, even if it has multiple colors, can still feel flat. Mixing textures changes that completely. Combine fine grasses, broad tropical leaves, and soft trailing plants. This contrast creates visual interest even when nothing is flowering. Every patio needs at least one focal point. This is the plant that immediately draws the attention when you enter the space. It could be a sculptural plant, a flowering shrub, or even a uniquely shaped container. The goal is to give the eye somewhere to land first. Containers are not just functional, they're part of the design language. The shape, material, and color of a pot can completely change the feel of a patio. For example, terracotta creates warm, Mediterranean feel, while sleek ceramic pots create a modern and minimal look. Even grouping different pots together intentionally can create rhythm and structure. Water changes the atmosphere of a patio instantly. Even a small fountain introduces sound, movement, and calmness. The sound of water also helps the background noise, making the space feel more private and peaceful. You don't need anything large. Even a simple bubbling feature or bowl-style fountain can shift the entire mood. And if you've been thinking about adding a small water feature to your patio space, now is the perfect time to do it. From calming fountains to beautiful ponds, you can get everything you need right here at Wildwood Outdoor Living. And if you're thinking about adding more color too, our online store has an amazing selection of roses and perennials ready to ship. One of the easiest ways to keep your patio fresh is seasonal rotation. Instead of keeping the same plants all year, you can swap containers or flowers depending on the season. Spring might bring bulb and fresh greens, summer brings bold blooms, and fall shifts into warm textures and tones. This keeps the patio visually evolving instead of static. Materials matter just as much as plants. Wood, stone, and terracotta age beautifully and blend naturally into outdoor environments. Unlike synthetic materials, they develop character over time. This gives your patio a grounded, timeless feeling that doesn't rely on trends. Your patio isn't just something you use, it's something you see. Designing with the indoor view in mind changes everything. When you look out your window, you see the structure, greenery, and intention, not randomness. This creates a continuous connection between the inside and outside spaces. The most beautiful patios aren't the most expensive or complex. They're the ones that match how the people actually live. If you like quiet mornings, design for that. If you love hosting, design for gatherings. If you want low maintenance, design for simplicity. A patio only becomes successful when it fits your real habits. Transforming a patio doesn't happen all at once. And when you start applying even a few of these ideas, your outdoor space starts to transform. Not just visually, but how you feel when you step into it. And that's what good garden design really is. And if you enjoyed practical, real-world gardening and outdoor tips, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button.